Constructed around 1775, the warehouse was used to store goods transported along the newly opened Bridgewater Canal. It's the grocer's warehouse. It transported its goods along a newly opened Bridgewater Canal. It was built for Hugh Henshaw, the brother-in-law and assistant to the great canal engineer James Brindley. In 1811, Henshaw sold the building to the Manchester Grocers Company, and since then it has been known as the Grocer's Warehouse. The original warehouse was 5 stories tall, rising 45 feet, that's 14 metres above the quayside. Boats could approach the warehouse from the Bridgewater Canal and enter the boat tunnels, which we can see. Cranes powered by water wheel were used to unload goods to each of the warehouse level. So I'm not going to do an engineering lesson on winding drums and spur wheels and wooden beams and metal chains, and even chains were invented at one point. As with many of Manchester's warehouses, the prosperity of the grocer's warehouse declined in the 20th century. In the 1960, the building was finally demolished. The foundations still remain. So when the sluice gate is opened, water will pour down the flume. This flow of water will turn a water wheel. This operates wooden beams and operates all the cranes. The bridge is wound up and down. When the lifting rope is not required, the metal chain is kept loose, so the rotating oak axle does not turn the winding drum. So, Bridgewater Canal. So I bumped into a section where we can join the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, the Bridgewater Canal, the Rochdale Canal, and originally the Bury-Bolton-Salford Canal, but that's no longer in use. So they all connect up here. So this is Castlefield Wharf or Castlefield Basin. So this is a section of the Bridgewater Basin. It's also Piccadilly Basin. It's one of the typical overflows that flow down. So got my brolly today, because I'm in Manchester. As I said, so we're near Bridgewater Hall, Bridgewater Canal, Bridgewater Basin, Piccadilly Basin, and it's a section where the Rochdale Canal would have gone under the GMEX Centre. The section was never fully opened. It would have connected to the Bury, Bolton and Manchester Companies Canal. So here I am, and like I say, what's cool, because this is a 220-year-old piece of engineering in the middle of this modern city. which I think is art in itself. Yeah, the juxtaposition of buildings like that and the technology needed. The foundations for that building don't even disturb the canal in any way. So there's a lot of engineering going on here, so I'm going to walk down towards the bottom and see where they all connect up. So the locks obviously now, as we hit Deansgate and Castlefield Basin, we have to drop quite rapidly. So there's canal locks every 200 metres, I'd say, at this point. Isn't that fantastic, really, when you think about it? That this is just so old and everything's been built around it. Well, this is what made all this built around it possible. That is the absolute truth. If it wasn't for the canal, it wouldn't have led to the trains, and the trains wouldn't have led to the roads, and the city would not have grown. So there you go. This canal is responsible for all this. It was here first. It's even older than the 1800s canal. The 1800s canal was an upgrade of all the little canals that were around from the 1700s. So that was the site of Knott Mill Ironworks back in 1835. There's a typical overflow that we see all the way down the Rochdale Canal, and the same blocks plus old stone work of the canal. As I have mentioned, they'll get close together and more active. It's just so funky, this. When you see, the engineering, it's fantastic when you can see it. It's not a mess, it's just a bit messy to the eye. So let's walk further down. Oh, how rude. Got the old red sandstone again. Check this out. Wouldn't even know that building had foundations. So that's modern engineering for you. So this canal drops down, and as I say, there'd be some interconnects here. Under the GMEX, there was a pumping canal dock to connect the Rochdale Canal up to others, but they lowered the prices just in time, so it wasn't necessary. So underneath the GMEX is a unused section of canal, but something similar to this. But remember, before all the fancy lights and trendy city, they're just archways. I think it's for the railway. That'll be, it's part of Deansgate locks now. Important bit. Don't know if you'll pick me up there, but my reflection is in that glass over there. So there's a comedy club. But important sections branch off all over the place here. And I don't know every single nook and cranny, and they are over 220 years old. But this lock's flooded. It's overflowed because the rainwater is quite higher up. So that, I believe, would be the drain for this lock, and it's blocked or no longer in use and is allowed to flood. We've got the typical examples of the old school, and we've got some steel structures from the old Manchester. I love how it's all incorporated together. I really, really do like it. It's just urban and old. But the mills, as I say, sprung up around the canal. Once the canal went through fields. There you go. Well, much more open areas than this. So you can hear the sound. And here is a wound up lock because you need a lot of power in it. Been cut off by the bridge, look, for the modern road and wall. But yeah, as I say, it's overflowing. Been high rainwater last 24 hours. Couldn't believe it was midsummer. Actually gone past the longest day of the year. And that was about 3 days ago or something. So that's Ryan Long Lock, and it's part of the Deansgate Basin, which we are actually in. But it's going to start breaking down, and we'll start to see more and more as we get further along. Right, so this is just so interesting. That's Deansgate Tunnel, and then lots of things happen here. But if you can see over there, that's solid stone. I'm not actually supposed to be filming, and here is solid stone. So we're in a place now where the Romans were, but this stone has been cut through for the canal to go through. Right, there's a million different things all interconnecting and crossing here, so I will be filming this properly. I'm just saying, I appeared here and the Roman axe will have chopped through here at some point. And there's a nice Victorian bridge. And I believe that is the part of the branch that went under the GMEX. The GMEX is up there. I can't be certain, so I'm just going to film as much as I can today, including this excellent bridge under. Across at an angle. Oh, it's fierce, Manchester, you know. Not just as a city, but the engineering. I'm going to be spending like a lot of time down here, I should imagine. So there you go, a little branch. I'm originally from Manchester, but this is the way to see what it used to look like, really. So that bridge lifts up out of the way. Okay, so I've decided to end here because we've got the Roman fortifications and possibly the oldest part of Manchester. So from the Bridgewater sections of this canal and the extra bits we've seen and the lock, we'll class this as a playlist. Film. So this is where Manchester began, right here, 1,700 years before the Great Industrial Revolution. That's what shaped the modern Castlefield and the entire world. The Romans built a castle in a field, Castlefield. You are standing, well, we are walking around inside that original fort. The impact of the fort, called Mamucium, was in its time as great as the creating of the canals. Well, more so. Castlefield became, for the first time, a centre of commerce and communication